we've heard some horror stories around this,
Hmm.
and it's around the client accounting. Now, when you pass everything over to a white label company or an outsourcing company, you're going to entrust them with doing your client accounting. We have heard horrendous stories about outsourcing companies, white label companies, that have had their fingers in the till. Now, one of the key things here is that when you get somebody to do your white label service, it's really important that they use their own client account, not yours. If it's your client account, you hold the responsibility, you hold the legal liability. And if any money goes missing, and we have heard stories of this happening, if any money goes missing, then you are in the mire, all right? So you take the blame. So they should have their own client account. It should be CAS protected. It should be indemnified, separate account, all the rest of it, set up as a CAS provider for a white label managed service. They should not be having access to your client account. And that is where a lot of the problems we've heard have come about. I mean, it's one thing dipping your money in your own pocket, but dipping your hand in someone else's pocket is even worse. So just be very careful with the client accounting. Make sure they're using their own client account, that it is audited every year. If they're an ALA member, it has to be audited every year, so you know damn well what money should be in there is in there, that it is exactly as it should be, and make sure that they have that insurance liability of minimum of 2 million as a CAS provider. So I think the client accounting, Dawn, is one of the key things, really, isn't it, in making sure, out of the 12 points, I think it's probably the biggest vulnerability. If you lose a couple of landlords, that's one thing, but if your client account disappears, that's a massive one. And there's been so many cases of this, and this is, for me, it's absolute alarm bells. Be careful here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like you've just said there, Sally, it's like, why would you give access? You wouldn't give somebody else access to your bank account at home, for example, your personal bank account. You wouldn't share that access with your family, and it just concerns me hugely. And I do question the reason why they wish to use other the agent's own client account, because me as an agent, I wouldn't. We have very limited amount of staff that have access to our client account in our building. You covered on governance not long ago, and it's like, you're going to employ somebody that you don't know, a completely different company, and you're going to allow them access into your bank account to make payments, move money. It's just a big no-no for me. And as you said, when you're making a choice of who to outsource to, ask for evidence of their client accounting procedure, for their CASP information, the insurance that goes along with that. And as ALA agents, that's something, like you've just said, we have to provide every single year. And as a CAS provider, if that 2 million liability is not detailed within the insurance, then we wouldn't pass the mark for client money protection. So absolutely do. That's probably the main factor. Don't let somebody else come into your bank account and have the authority to be able to move that money around.
No, definitely not.
It's a big no-no.